Hey, Joker's here, back, disconnected on the phone. But we're here, man, all alone. Haha, have a good night. Joker in the house. Haha, happy holidays from yours truly, the Joker. But as I'd seen in the room when the woman bit the tall guy in leather, clothes and gloves aren't foolproof against a zombie attack. That's for sure. In our world and their world, things are created. And things are being created, and we're going through all the worlds to create a real chapter. All the training, all through the dreams, and all through the walks of life. I tried to control myself after that. I didn't pull back as much as I had been doing, even though every part of me wanted to. The medic left once he's finished. I ran my tongue around my mouth and winced as one of my teeth nicked it. I should have warned you about that, Riley said. Doesn't matter how much you file them down, they'll always be sharper than they were. Best thing is to keep your tongue clear of your teeth. Thrash easily for you two, Shaw, I mumbled. Hey, not bad for your first attempt, Riley said, looking impressed. Most of the revisals takes a few days to get their act together. I think you're going to be a fast learner. Shikaro, you, Ashur, hello. I spat as his expression darkened. Maybe you're better of mute, he growled. It took me a while to get the hang of my new teeth. I still slur the occasional word, but a week into my new life, or unfair, whenever the hell it's called, I could speak as clearly as I could before I was killed. Basement went to Mao, wanted to Mao and Meadow. I sing tuneless to my reflection, but a zombie ripped her heart out, so now she's a walking dead-o. Hey, I might be dead, but you've gotta laugh, haven't you? Especially when you're not longer about to cry your bloody eyes out. Lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about mom and dad. Riley hasn't told me anything about the outside world. We've spent a lot of time together. His chats with me about all sorts of things soccer, TV, shows we used to watch, our lives before the zombies uprising. But he won't discuss the attack on my school or any of the other assaults that took place that day. I've no longer have any idea if orders have been restored, if the soldiers and medics here are the only people left alive, in the whole wild world. I've pushed him hard for answers, but although Riley's been good to me, he can't play deaf and dumb to perfection when he wants. I've said a few prayers for mom and dad, even though I'm not the praying. Type. For mom, especially, it's strange. I thought I loved dad more. He was the one I respected, the one I wanted to impress. Mom was weak, in my opinion, a coward, a fool for letting her husband knock her about the place. I stood up for her and always tried to help when he'd lay her into her, because that's what you do for your mom. But if you'd asked me a name, a favor, I've chosen Dad, despite all his flaws. But she's the one I missed most. Maybe it's because of what Dad did the day I died. He came to rescue me, risked his own life to try to save me. But then he made me throw Tyler to the zombies, turned me into a killer, and since then, no, that's a lie. I don't want to lie to myself anymore. I've done too much of that in the past. Be truthful, B. Dad didn't force me. I threw his trailer to the zombies because I was scared and it was the easiest thing to do. I threw Tyler to the zombies because I was scared and it was the easiest thing to do. Dad hated foreigners, I should say, and people who had different beliefs. I never wanted to be like him in the respect, but to keep him quiet, I acted as if I was, and in the end, it rubbed me off on me. I became a monster. I don't even want to allow that to happen again. But if I'm to keep the beast inside me under control, I have to accept that the guilt was mine for doing what Dad told me to do. You can't blame other people for your sins of your own makings. I sit up, swing my legs off the bed, and scrawl. No other worries about Mom and Dad before I add more information. I'm sure answers will be revealed in time. They can't be keeping me alive just to hold me in the cell forever. To hold me on still forever. I have to be patient. Explanations will come. If I have to moan, I'll do it once their deaths are confirmed. Until then, I need to hope for the best. To distract myself, I focus on the throbbing noise. It's constant, the rumbling of the machine in the distance. AC oxygen, gonna need that. Being pumped into the living, it never ceases. It drove me mad for the first days, but now I find it comforting. Without a TV, iPod, or anything else, it's the only way I have of amusing myself when Riley's not around. I turn in the hum when I'm bored and try to put my images to the noise to imagine what happens outside his cell. Soldiers marching, medics conducting their experiments, the teenagers in leather. I know something about the leather. I've no idea who they were. I'm pretty sure, judging by the green moss on the tall guy's cheek, they're like me, zombies, who can think and act the way they did before they died. Riley refers to us as revitalized. The original mindless zombies are revived. But why were they revitalized? In the room and weapons? Are they prisoners like me, or are they cooperating with the soldiers? Where did they come from? Why are we different from the others? Is there hope for us? Can we be cured? I sneered at the question. Of course you can't be cured, you dumb bitch, I snorted. Not unless you can find the Wizard of Oz to give you a brand new heart. I give up and stand in front of the mirror. I seem to be studying myself a lot recently. Is that is not it's not that I'm vain. That's just that's just isn't anything. Everything to do. I'm not interested in my face this time. I was wearing the shredded, filthy remains of my school uniform when I regained consciousness. That's been replaced with a pair of jeans and a plain white shirt. I pulled the shirt up to my chin and stared at my ruined chest. I never had big tits. Vinyl used to call them bee stings. I told him I'd do worse than sting him if he kept on saying that. But I like Vinyl. So I let him get away with it. My right boob is the same as it was before, but my left is missing, torn from my chest by Tyler Baylor. A fair bit of flesh around it is missing too, and my heart's been ripped out, leaving an unnatural, ghastly hole in its place. Bits of bone poke through the flesh around the bone, and I see all sorts of tubes inside, veins, arteries, and what have you. Conjugal blood meshes the mess together, along with the green moss that sprouts lightly all over the wound. Every so often, a few drops of blood oozes out of one of the tubes, but it's not like it used to be. The blood is much thicker, The consistency of jelly and the flow always stops after a second or two. Sounds like when I'm shaving by my nipples. I quizzed Riley about that. Without a heart, there shouldn't be any flow at all. The same way that without working lungs, I shouldn't be able to speak. The body remembers, he said. At least it does and revitalizes. What the hell does that mean? I frowned. When you recover your wits, your brain started trying to control the rest of your body. The way it did when you were alive, he explained. You don't need to breathe anymore, but your brain thinks that you should. But it forces your lungs to expand and collapse, which is why you can't talk. You can't stop it when you focus. If you shout your mouth and close your nose, and lungs will shut down after a minute or two. The most of the time, your lungs work away in the background, even though there's no reason why they should. If you had a heart, it should be the same. Your brain would tell it to pump around your body. It wouldn't operate as smoothly as it did before. No more than a weak pulse every few minutes. But it would keep the blood circulating, I bit sluggishly. Now, you don't have a heart, Riley said unsympathetically, but the brain's a stubborn organ in it. It's doing the best it can. It roped in some of the other organs and is using them to nudge your veins and arteries and compensate for the missing pump. Some of the scientists here are blown away by that. They've never seen a body do it before. Never seen my body do something before with the heart condition, but I'm pumping it up, pumping up the boots. You heard? Throwing back. Haha, Joker style. Or JC, either one. They think they're the coolest things since sliced bread. They love to take you off to their labs to study you in depth. Who's stopping them, I asked. But at the soldier cleaned up again, I poked my finger in the cavity in my chest a few times. I dipped it into the blood and smeared it across my tongue. But I can't feel if it tastes any difference. My taste buds have gone to hell. My mouth is dry. My tongue feels like it's been made of sandpaper. And apart from a foul staleness that is always there, I haven't been able to identify any specific tastes. I sigh as I stare at the hole. It shocks me that the few times I couldn't believe this was really me. I turned my back on the image and tried to cry, shook my head and refused to accept this was what I'd become. But now it doesn't bother me that much. I didn't let it. Why would I? After all, hey, I laughed hilariously at my reflection. It's too short. Chapter 4, page 23. Thank you for coming, ladies and gents. The Joker's yours truly. Onto the circus, exploring the wildlife, and onto the plays and performances in the theater. We won't make the television down walking down the street, and our hopes and dreams and our attitudes of the world, and the skies and the emo and the goth and hippiness and all the other rays and clubs outside, and just seeing the twinkles and stars will come back. Seeing cool TV, seeing sporadic TV, seeing people walking down the street on TV. Just an image of a feeling like that will happen if you support the Joker, Congressman. Stay tuned. Truly yours, Joker. Thank you for coming, everyone.